Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for this walkabout. And we are really delighted to welcome you here to the exhibition of the final works that made it to the final round. We have 123 works that are on exhibit here. So for this walkabout, it is impossible to take you through each and every work. But what I will be doing is giving you just some highlights and insight into the winning works and what the judges felt about those works and why they ended up being in the winning circle. We will begin with an engagement with our previous winner, Patrick Rulore, who won the 2019 edition of the competition. He was supposed to, of course, hold his solo exhibition in 2020 as part of the prize for winning the competition. But because of COVID, unfortunately, that could not happen. So in some respect, it worked out really well for him because it gave him an extra year to conceptualize this exhibition and put up what I believe is a really powerful show based on the winning work from 2019, which was called Stage 4 Moments, that really spoke to our situation with the electricity crisis in the country. But I will let Patrick talk about his own work, and I'll introduce him in a moment. But by way of introduction, I really want to talk about what it is that we do when we look at artworks as audiences, right? So artists have taken weeks, sometimes months, sometimes a whole year to create these beautiful works that are on exhibit here. And here we come to experience these artworks. So how do we engage and encounter these works? And I would like to borrow some words from one of the foremost minds or thinkers that ever wrote about art. His name was Clement Greenberg. Some of you might know him, some of you might not. But to kind of contextualize, Clement Greenberg was like the Beyonce of pop music, right? For art, he was like Beyonce, right? So he's an American art critic. But in 1975, he took the time out to come to our country, South Africa. And when he was here, he did a series of lectures around the country. But what is really insightful were those lectures. And he says the following, I quote, "Art critics are unaware of how many principles of aesthetic experience cannot be put into words," end quote. So this was quite curious because Clement Greenberg, of course, was the foremost writer and thinker of art, but he himself conceded that sometimes words are deficient in explaining the phenomenology of experiencing an artwork. And I say this to, in a way, issue a disclaimer that I don't have the words that will help you understand these works any better than what you can with your own eyes, with your own physical body, your own ears. Some of the artworks you'll see when we go to the winning artwork. It's a work that engages with a kind of multi-sensory experience. So it's got sound, you get to see it as well. So that is my encouragement to you, that even though we are going to be talking, and the artists here will also be talking about their work, just be aware and just be mindful and just give us grace that we might not have the right words, right? The right grammar to translate what these awesome works actually mean and their power, their gravitas. So it is really up to you as the audiences. And I guess this is also a plea to those that might be joining us online, that if you can make it to the museum or if you can get to a computer and watch the virtual tour, please do that, because that's the best way to experience an artwork. So now I will move on to Patrick, who was our previous winner in 2019. I'm really proud of Patrick because he comes from the institution where I work at, the Tshwane University of Technology. He completed a National Diploma in Fine Art, specializing in painting. And as you can see here, his exhibition is populated by paintings. And of course, he made that spectacular work that blew the judges away in 2019, giving him the accolade of overall winner for the competition. And really, I must just note before Patrick comes and talks about his own work, that what we are looking for really in a winning work is and we judge the work, we don't judge the artist, right? We're looking at the work. When we're judging the competition, we are looking at the artwork. But what we're looking for in an artwork is an artwork that will really be timeless. And that was definitely part of Patrick's work, and I'm delighted that that has been translated over to this solo exhibition as well, that the pieces you see before you, I think will really go beyond this generation and will serve as evidence and as a creative heritage of the moment that we are living through from 2018, 2019, all the way through to 2021. So with those few words, I hereby welcome Patrick.
Welcome everyone to my solo exhibition. Well, generally my work talk about load shedding, and it embraces the human connection that occur during load shedding, and also it talks about those times of face-to-face talk. It embraces quality times that are happening during family setup. That's basically what my work trying to talk about. So in my first work titled Damn, Where is the Torch? It is the most important work actually in this body of work, because I believe before we can start doing anything after that moment of cutting off the lights, there must be some sort of darkness. So this work, that's why it is actually the first painting that introduced the whole body of work, because without this moment, none of this experience that you see would exist. So dam, where is the torch? Like the dam, as I use it as some form of expressing that person who might be in the scene. So some, they will be like, where's the candle? Where's the lamp? So it's one of the most important artwork, which I believe is going to give birth to a lot of works in the future. As an artist, it's not just the darkness that I see here, but I see a family. I see family members, and I see one person just going around the house, trying to look for the torch. I feel their presence, so it's just one piece that I do like so much. Okay, so moving to the next piece. This is the moment now when Patrick has found the torch. So this is what really happens, and with this one, there's no more entertainment from televisions, radios, except cell phone devices that are going to die in the next few hours. So this is the time of face-to-face talk. The quality of conversations, it is also enhanced as well. So it is that moment, those first moments that when we found the torch, we found the candle, we found the lamp, whatever that we can use, to bring light in the house. This is just one of those moments. So well, this one is more like the repetition of the same scene from the original painting, stage 4 moments. This one was painted in a different angle. It's just the repetition of the work that I won Sasol New Signatures with. Then moving to this one, one device left. It is also one scene that I do like, and I've seen it happening quite often. And with this one, parents do buy their children cell phones somewhere around the age of 13, 14. At this scene, they were all just playing games, in their different corners when there was, electricity. As soon as electricity goes away, a few hours later, it is only one device that is, left in the house. And, kids like to play, games and everything. So in this scene, this is just my siblings, they're just around one with, battery left. And they're just, enjoying the one playing the game. The beauty of this scene is that the interaction between these people, because when they are playing games in their separate corners, I don't see that as much of fun. Rather, when one cell phone is used to, is shared among, the children, and they play the game from that one device, I see that as, those memorable and nice, moments that children, can experience in the family. These three, they are engaging their emotions, when one is playing the game, because I believe they are not going to enjoy, just looking at one person playing the game. So in my home language, we call it homenya, meaning that, we're wishing one to fail so that, the next person can play the game. So for that, I see it achieving those interaction, within the scene of, something like that. Where's my shoe? In most cases, especially back in 2019, when load shedding, just caught us by surprise, unlike these days when now they just give us schedules on when electricity is going to, cut off so that we can prepare ourselves. Unlike those days, so in this scene, one is looking for his shoe. And I've seen this, scene happening most of the time, because, you find that you are cooking and you're doing something and electricity cuts off, and that doesn't mean the activities will stop. So you must be, in search of something. When you are cooking, you'll be looking for the spices in the kitchen and other things. So this is just, one of the scenes that, I like. Thank you.
My final comment would be, these artworks are highly collectible, so please buy. And congratulations, Patrick, really. I think as an initial launch, he is now officially no longer a new signature. He is an established individual, and we are looking forward to many more exhibitions at even grander cultural institutions and galleries. The point here is not to give you some special insight into what this artwork is all about and what the artist was trying to achieve here, but rather to just note to you that for the judges, this artwork really represented what the competition stands for, in terms of it being a platform where the best artistic talent, emerging artistic talent in the country, can be celebrated. And so Andrea du Plessis' painting was, I think without doubt, one of the works that most of the judges, if not all, gravitated towards. I should note that there are many other works as well that could have easily been the winning artwork for valid reasons, but it turns out this year that this is the winning work. The two reasons that the judges felt that this artwork was important and needed to be accorded this prize. The first one is that the artwork is really charting a path in terms of how art is going to be experienced now and moving into the future. So with the emergence of technology as being a key mediator of our experience of the world. I mean, this is not really new. This has been happening, one would argue, with the invention of things like the camera. But certainly more and more in the past decade or so, technology has become a really important factor and a mode of experiencing art. So because what you see in front of you is, of course, a traditional oil painting, but the manner in which you can experience the work really has evolved in the sense that there's an app that you download, the ArtVive app, and you place it in front of the artwork. Really the work takes on a new life, right, within this new mode. So that kind of multimodal interface was something that the judges really appreciated. And not just as a gimmick. I think sometimes technology can be used as a kind of gimmick, right? Lights, show and spectacular theatrics that detract from the actual potency of the work. But in this case, we didn't feel that that was the case. We felt that the app actually enhanced the work and enhanced the kind of user experience, if one could use that phrase. So that was the first reason, right? That it is perhaps showing us how art moving forward is going to be experienced, that more and more through our digital mobile phones and tablets and whatever it may be, there's going to be this interface between an artwork, the digital object, and ourselves. The second reason, of course, is engagement with materiality. And this is something which many artists sometimes negate, especially with the urge or the move towards technology, is you actually forget that an artwork needs to be, there was a phrase that one of my former colleagues, Retief van Wyk, used to use, and I loved it so much, that you need to massage it to life. And that process of massaging the artwork to life, regardless of what material you might be using, whether that is oil on canvas, pencil on paper, clay, glass, whatever it may be, there needs to be evidence that there was an artistic intervention here that was in many respects profound, right? That the way in which the object or the material was, again, massaged by the artist really helps us appreciate the medium and the final product in profound ways. And this is certainly the case here, that as a painting, as an oil painting, it is brilliant. And ultimately, that's what it's all about. There was an engagement with the materiality that could not be ignored. I think if you go onto the Sasol New Signatures website and read up on the blog, you'll get a sense of the concept that has gone into this work, the amount of research, the references to other creative forms that is taking place. But ultimately, it's about the final product that you see in front of you, which really captivated and drew the judges in. So we're really looking forward to Andrea's show in 2022 and what she'll be able to do, right, in terms of, as I said, the first point, bringing technology as a kind of mediating factor in our experience of art, and also the engagement with the materiality. Without moving, I'm not going to move too much, I'm just going to draw your attention to some of the other artworks that got into the winning circle. So here where you stand, oddly enough, we've got 4 artworks that received merit prizes. The first one is this one that's right in front of you, by Sibaninzi Datu, who is based in East London. He received a National Diploma in Ceramics from the Walter Sisulu University. What the judges felt about this work is its engagement with the current moment that we're in with social grants. So the artist speaks so lucidly of how he noticed every day that there were more and more queues that were showing up as a result of the 350 Rand COVID emergency relief grant that was instituted by the president, and how more and more of those people were what we would consider the most destitute in our society. So his engagement with these everyday individuals who are sometimes forgotten, right? Sometimes queues are so prominent in our society that we are immune to them. But he stopped and actually looked at those individuals and decided to create these kind of memorializations towards them. And so this really small, intimate clay ceramic works, which you literally look down upon. I think the presentation was also another important factor in him getting a merit prize. The fact that us as an audience literally look down on these individuals, like we often do as well in real life. But the inverse of that is that to experience the work, one is kind of forced to go down to their level, as it were. You almost have to sit at that level to get a sense of the individuals that have been catalogued in this artwork. So this was one of the merit prizes, and I think it's important as well, the medium here. One of the issues that artists raise year in, year out is, it seems that there are certain mediums that the judges gravitate towards, and that's not the case at all. Here you can see it's ceramic, and the artist again has massaged the material in a manner that is compelling, and the narrative is also compelling. it can make it into the winner's circle. We were really delighted. It was also one of my favorite works when we did the regional judging in Gqeberha. This is a work by Eugene Klopper. This is a photographic work, which is quite fascinating because when you look at it the first time, it does not look like a photographic work, right? It almost looks like a pastel drawing or a painting. This was from Durban, and the judges there as well. For a long time, we were unsure as to what exactly we were looking at. At first glance, it's not that easy to notice, but those are actually masks that are on a board. So that's actually a black board at a school. The pigment at the bottom there, that's actually the color of the wall, and this is synonymous with how schools, especially in black urbanisms or black areas or where black people live, how schools are painted. You know, they're painted in this kind of hue or ochre. The artist is actually a teacher at that school, and in this artwork, he was commenting about how, again, through the COVID crisis, a public education system that is already in limbo was further derailed. I think there were reports that say most of the schools in the public system are actually back by 5 years as a result of all of the disruptions. So as a teacher who experienced and saw this happening on a daily basis, he cataloged that. And also the repurposing. This is also quite fascinating, the repurposing of objects. So here the masks, which we are supposed to use to cover our faces, have been repurposed as blackboard erasers, right, to remove the chalk from the blackboard. So again, teachers use whatever is around them, right? So these kind of discarded masks are then now used as the erasers. So yeah, this work again, I think, really did well, and that shift from being a photograph to almost being a tactile drawing or painting, I think was what got the judges really impressed about this work. And then the other work, which was a little bit disturbing, that's one of the judges noted, is this by Monika Klopper. Here the artist, who is really petite, beautiful artist, is using snakeskin, right, to create this dress, which for her, she was recreating a dress for her christening when she was a little girl, and she has actually used the hanger. So she notes she actually used the original hanger, which her christening dress was actually hung on, but she has created her own dress using the snakeskin. And again here, I need not wax lyrical about how she has gotten the material to do that. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. It looks more like silk than it does like snakeskin, right? So the material has really been shifted. It is fragile, so again, I think it speaks to the fragility of children. But ultimately, by using snakeskin, she was talking about how she had her own personal tussles with religion and growing up in a church. She does note that her father is actually a dominee, right? In fact, we were laughing about it the other time. He's not just a dominee, he's like the dominee of the dominees, right? It's like the head of all of the priests for a specific church, and so it was not an easy work for her to make, in kind of questioning the church, questioning notions of purity and evil, dark, light, and of course the significance or symbolism of the snake, right? And her using this snake skin. Again, I think a spectacular work that quite easily as well could have been a winning work, and deservedly so, but it made it into the winner circle, and it seems someone is interested in buying that. You know, works like these ones, which are so fragile, are fascinating in terms of our understanding of art and its longevity, because I do not know how one preserves an artwork like that. And maybe another question is it even meant to be preserved, right? Maybe the artist has used that material intentionally so that it is an artwork of its moment, of its time, and it should not be seen or experienced beyond us here. But it has been purchased, so we are really delighted about that. And then the final work, which I draw your attention to, is by Michelle Dix, this mixed media which is titled Pandemic. The work, I think, is self-explanatory, talking about the pandemic. Again, the judges felt that the manner in which the artist was talking about the pandemic, right, or engaging with her experiences of the pandemic, was honest, was unpretentious, really, and I think that is really important, that artists just stay true to who they are. It's quite interesting to note that this is a much older artist who was also quite shocked that she even made it into the final judging round, and let alone got a merit prize. And that's something that we're really proud of as a competition, that we can actually give artists who are not necessarily coming out of art school immediately. I think that's important, that you have your Patricks and so on, but we also give a platform for artists who are much older, who maybe had taken a different career choice for much of their life, and then later on have taken on that burning desire to create art. They can submit work, and she submitted, and we've got many other examples from the past as well of artists that were much older in terms of age, but new signatures, and their work is still being given the light of day within this competition. There's no restriction on age. But again, if you look at the work, the materiality, the conceptual side, there's nothing too grand or too complex or too sophisticated. It's just a simple exploration of the artist's experience of COVID, right? And that being brought out in these little drawings that have been sewn on, and the multitude of activities that all of us had to do under level 5, right? We had to be really inventive of how we utilize the small spaces that we were confined to. Now we move on to the runner-up, the artist that received the second prize, and this year it went to Dalivers, who created what I think is a really profound artwork. It's my personal favorite. I'm not too sure if I should say that, but that's okay, because I'm not the one that decided on which work won. We had a whole panel of judges, and it for me, I think, checks all the boxes of what a really generationally transformative artwork ought to be. The artist Dali, he himself is a social activist, has been involved in several projects that are aimed at social justice and achieving social rights for those that are underprivileged and oppressed by various systems and so on. It's a work that for him, as he explains it, for him this is kind of his own personal manifesto, right? So the work is titled Forward a Manifesto. And manifestos, for those of you that might not be aware, manifestos were kind of founding documents for various social or artistic movements and political movements as well. So if we were getting together and we're saying, yes, fees must fall or roads must fall, whatever movement it is, then there would be a document that kind of guides that whole activist project. So he's writing his own manifesto as an artist, and it's a manifesto that references other manifestos from history. So there are references here to Karl Marx, the famous communist philosopher. He references all these historical figures in order to, as I say, create his own manifesto. And for me, what is really powerful about this work are the words, right? So please take time to actually read through what he has written here. I mean, the first statement for me just nails it, where he says, this is not the end of history. We refuse to let it be, right? This kind of really emphatic declaration by an ordinary individual that this world, right, will not allow this world to be ended by whatever forces seek to end it. So that's the one element, the fact that the words themselves have so much power and gravitas. But the next part of this artwork, which again I think the judges nearly gave it the ultimate prize, was the fact that he used plastic, and he painstakingly, literally weaved all of these words, all of this text into this essay that you see here. And I think it is just absolutely amazing. It took him many hours and many weeks to, of course, achieve this. So that is the runner-up, and as I said, my personal favorite as well. So this is the 5th and final Merit Award winner, who actually also won a Merit Award in 2019. So this is a photograph by Nico Athene. So she's a multidisciplinary artist who was completing her master's degree at the University of Witwatersrand in art. She's based in Cape Town. It was a disturbing work at first because when you are far from it, you are not too sure what is going on there, right? This is kind of an unsettling scene. But the more that you look at the image and then you actually read up on the reasons why the artist has created or captured this image. So this is the artist's grandmother, and here she was giving her grandmother the regular kind of massage that she gave, especially during the lockdown period when they were together indoors for much longer. One of their family friends or neighbors, I'm not too sure exactly who, captured this moment. It was not a staged photograph, but it was just a moment that was taking place, and then the friend saw this and captured that moment, and it then turned into this wonderful artwork that you see here. But again, speaks to a whole range of issues around caring for the aging and how the aging are often forgotten within our communities and societies, or kind of locked away in old age homes. But as I say, it was initially a really unsettling artwork, and usually those unsettling artworks, especially at regional judging round, similar to the work by Eugene Klopper from Durban, usually those type of works do well in the final judging round. You know, the ones where the judges are unsure about actually have quite a bit of power. I will say this again, there could have been many other artworks that could have made it into the winning circle, and deservedly so, but unfortunately not all the works can be given the ultimate award, and in many respects this is a reflection of the judging panel. You know, the kind of tastes, interests, or feelings of the judging panel is what you see here. But from our side as the competition organizers, we are really delighted with all of the works that made it into the winning circle. We think for different reasons, they really represent what the competition stands for.